minute, but we're back in. School's back in. Sorry for the wait, but we're back in. School's back in. Wi-Fi online, yeah, we're back in. School's back in. Say hello to your classmates and your friends. School's back in. Classroom Google. Meet on Google. You ain't gotta go to school, we gon' bring it to you. Virtual learning. Grades what you're earning. For your attendance and the work that you're turning.
Grab your notes and do the math. And please pay attention when you're in my class. And when you're reading, please read along. And in music class, please sing that song.
We got a class for your emotional learning, cause we know you're stressed out from COVID-19. Got science, got social studies, got writing and online PE.
It's time to tell the world just who we be. Rolling Hills Elementary, the RHE. And you know we're represented by the TIGERSIMASCOT.
Hey! Yeah, it's been a minute, but we're back in. School's back in. Sorry for the wait, but we're back in. School's back in. Wi-Fi online and we're back in. School's back in. Say hello to your classmates and your friends. School's back in.
Good evening, parents, and welcome to RHE Presents Parent Peace. We are thrilled that you are joining us this evening. We have lots of information to share with you. We know that during this time of pandemic learning that it has been difficult. There have been some frustrations from our parents, from our students, and us as educators. So tonight we just wanted to come together, allow you to hear from other RHE parents and hear from parent educators so that we can all be successful during this time. I am thrilled to have some amazing RHE parents to join us for a parent panel. So I am going to bring them up. So glad that they are with us tonight. So you can see some of these RHE parents who are with us. I am going to allow them to introduce themselves. They're going to share their name, how many Lancaster ISD students they have, and grade level. So Miss Leverett, I'll begin with you.
My name is Shanicia Leverett. I have one child. She's in 5th grade.
Okay.
Did you want me to Miss Pumpkin? Oh, okay. What did you say?
We heard you, one 5th grader.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Miss Dedman?
Hi, I'm Shamitras Dedman. I have one son that's a 3rd grader.
Okay. Miss West, we'll take it to you. Miss West? I'm sorry, Miss Wright. You were like, that's not my name. Okay, Miss Wright, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. I was looking for Miss West. I thought we lost her.
Go ahead, Miss Wright. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gladys Wright. I have 3 Lancaster students. I have a 12th grader, and I have 2 elementary students. One is 3rd grade and one is 1st grade.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Wright. I appreciate that. Parents, I told our panel that on announcements, I stumble each day. It's just kind of a part of being live and in front of everybody. You just keep it moving. So thank you, Miss Wright. Okay, Mr. Jones.
I'm Jeremy Jones. I have one daughter in the fifth grade in Lancaster ISD.
Okay. Thank you again. We appreciate you all coming just to share some of your experiences, because we know this has been a task for all of us, especially trying to balance your home responsibilities, your work life, and then your students, what they have to do academically. So the first thing that I just wanted to ask all of you, what are some of the frustrations that you have experienced as a parent during this pandemic?
You want us to just go one by one, Ms. Pippins?
Sure. Go ahead.
I guess I would share mine. The frustrations I guess I've been having is just trying to balance me working at home and then also with my daughter when she was at home. And then just making sure that she's doing the work and that she understands the work and how to do it. Because before, she's never submitted an assignment online. She's never did any of that as far as like being on the computer like that, having to do the work, having to do the class for a long period of time. She just, it was hard. So I had to check on her a lot just to make sure to ensure that she was doing the work that the teachers did have or wanted her to do, and that she was doing it in a timely manner as well.
Because so frustration was the time.
Yes, ma'am. Because it was like they would do bell ringers. They only maybe have like 5 minutes for the bell ringers. For her, she's like her 5 minutes is like 15 to 20 minutes. I'm like, you can't take it long. Now they're moved on to something else. So yes, ma'am. Just time management, and then just balancing. I would say my workload, and then also her school will be. I guess like my top.
Okay, so I can hear that time management. That's one that's pretty common. What about anyone else? A frustration you've had as a parent?
I can share. I have three students, all different grades. I have a senior, a third grader, and a first grader. The senior is pretty self-sufficient with knowing how to navigate the systems and everything. But the two smaller ones, they only knew how to work an iPad or Xbox or a Wii system. They didn't know how to navigate a computer system. So it was the frustrated part came in with trying to get them to understand the different systems that they have to go to, like Google Meets, and then some stuff have to be on Class Kick, and then some stuff is on Steam Scopes. And the hardest part was trying to get them to remember how to log in, like teach them the keys, how to hit shift, how to make the dollar sign appear. So, and that on top of working from home myself, everybody has different schedules. They're on the same school schedule, so sometimes one can be coming from lunch, one can be going to lunch, and it's just like multitasking, running back and forth from room to room to make sure everybody's logged in. I say the biggest thing for me at first was the computer issues. We were always getting kicked out of the Wi-Fi. I was thinking something was wrong, but I guess it was new. Everybody was trying to log in at the same time. This is a new platform, so a lot of traffic was getting built in, and the teacher probably would think the student wasn't online, but we were just having bad internet issues. So that was the frustrating part for me.
Okay, so I heard computer issues, learning new systems, and time management.
Yes.
Back from Ms. Livery. Okay, anyone else want to share frustrations?
I can share. I think one of the biggest frustrations for me was communication with the teachers, as far as finding out if a child has completed an assignment. Because what I've learned, my child was at home the first 6 weeks virtual, but now he's back in person. But it's just finding out, because things look different from the teacher's end than from the student's end, as far as if they have a assignment that's submitted versus, via a Google form, where the parents can't see if the form has been complete, because to us the form looks blank if they've already turned the assignment in to the teacher. So I was having to go to the teacher and was like, okay, this assignment looks blank, but do you see it completed on your end? So things like that. And then as far as teachers responding in a timely manner, because most times I have to just be Dojo. I don't know if the teachers don't check Dojo daily or often. Some do, some don't. But it's kind of frustrating when you send a response and you don't get a response back to the next day or the next 2 days. Well, I mean, then by then the issue is obsolete by then. So that has been kind of my frustration, is communication between the teachers and the parents.
Okay. So I hear that communication, and then knowing that an assignment is completed and submitted. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the program. Thank you. Mr. Jones, did you have something that you wanted to share? You're muted, Mr. Jones. We can't hear you.
Sorry, my bad. For us, it was more unexpected things, like things that come with COVID. Like nobody knew that if everybody's home, your internet could be at capacity and you're gonna have connection issues. Things that are unexpected like that. I work from home 2 days a week, so that part was fine. It was just the transition for that, and then I bought my daughter a computer, but like Miss Leverett or somebody said earlier, they're into iPads, they're not into computers. So the computer was just there collecting dust. So when she got a Chromebook, I said, see, that's why you should have gone through this, so you can know what to do and how to navigate through it. So I think that was the most challenging thing in the beginning, is making sure that she was in the right classes and turning in the right work the right way. Making sure, because with Google, that Google thing, you have to attach and put in certain places so the teachers can see. It's not as simple as just PDFing something and saving it in a folder. It has to go in certain places. I think that was the most challenging thing with us.
And everything that you all are saying, I'm looking. We have some other parents who are saying, trying to wrap your brain around the basics. Us as parents having to go back. Okay, what did this look like when I was in school? I see one comment here: having a whole class in your house. Like you missed, right? I have 3 kids, and at one point, everybody's in the house on a device trying to learn. I'm trying to work. So these are definitely some frustrations. I see another one: adjusting to the system, getting my kids to adjust. Miss Manning says she's better now, so I'm glad to hear that. Miss Leverett, you were going to share in an additional item.
Yes, I wanted to piggyback on what the young lady has said earlier before Mr. Jones, when it was talking about like turning in and hearing back from the teacher in a timely manner. And then also I wanted to know, is there a way that they can let us know if an assignment is missing? It's like certain teachers do it and certain teachers don't. And then it's like when I request for it, they were just like, well, I just need you to email me every week. And I'm like, I can't do that, plus everything else that I have on my plate. So it's like, I just want to know if there's a standard that all the teachers could do to make sure that all her work is turned in, so she won't be filling in anything or filling any classes, and I'm unaware of it.
So I'm glad you said that, because we are going to address that. So after we hear from you all as parents, like I said, we have some parent educators, those of us who have LISD parents, and we work at Rolling Hills. We're going to be talking exactly on that. And so I'm so glad that we had you here first, because it's great for us as a staff and those who are logged in to hear it firsthand from our parents, some of your frustrations, so that we can seek some solutions tonight. So I heard your frustrations. I want you to speak specifically, if you were frustrated in this area, what's working for you? What have you found that is, the gears are now turning, your kids are doing well, you have found a little bit of peace. I know it may not be perfect every evening, but tell us what's going on in your household and you feel like, okay, we can do this.
I guess I'll start off with, you want to go, Mr. Jones?
Ladies first. Okay. Ladies first.
Yes, sir. I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm grateful that they're back in school, because I'm able to just do my work successfully, because I've been working at home too. We have one day in the office and the rest of the time I'm at home. So I'm actually able to get work done successfully, I would say, now that she's returned back to school. Like I said, just pretty much just making sure that her assignments and stuff are turned in a timely manner, that kind of things like that is something that we're still working on, but it's kind of working for us as well.
Okay. That sounds good. And that has been a reprieve for a lot of our parents. Okay. Mr. Jones, what did you want to add?
So for me, letting my daughter once she was acclimated and she realized, how to do things, just let her do it on her own and trust that she can do what she's supposed to do. I found that she works better when she closes the door. I go in and check on her, but she closes the door and she pays attention to class, and she just does her work. I feel like it works better that way. Just like when you go to college for the first time and the teacher hands you a syllabus and you're like, "What's this?" The teacher's not babying you, telling you what to do, and I explained that to her. You got to pay attention to what they're telling you to do because they're not here to check behind you to make sure did you do this or did you do that. You have to be responsible and make sure that you turn this stuff in. So I think just letting her do that and get acclimated to the new way of doing things, it was easier for her to make that pivot to do, to this virtual world.
And I'm glad you said that, Mr. Jones. That's something that I had planned to touch on. We see our kids as babies. They're our babies. We've had them, we love them. The students, when they go into the classroom, whether it's in the building or it's the virtual classroom, teachers are looking at them as students with potential. And so we just have to make sure that we're still not coddling them and saying, but oh, my baby can't. They actually can. Like Miss Wright was saying, they know how to work their iPads, they know how to work their Wii, they know how to work this PS5, whatever you have. And so a lot of those skills can be transferred over to what they need to do for academics. Our kids are amazing. They are really ahead of us as it comes to technology, because they are teaching us new things each and every day. I see a few comments over here. I just want to pull them over. Mr. Galloway saying a frustration was like you have an assessment and you're not able to open it. Mr. Galloway, let me tell you, we all had that frustration as the principal, as the teacher. Anytime you have new technology, there are going to be kinks. And unfortunately, we're having to work through these kinks live in person as we go. So we're hoping that the more we use these tools, we'll be able to get a little bit better. So talk to me more, Ms. Wright, Ms. Devin, what is working for your household?
For my household, since everybody, each person has different personalities, they learn different ways, they do things differently. So I just try to know how to handle each child's learning ability differently. So for the oldest, being online for that many hours a day, sitting in this room, it can get too calm, too relaxing, start falling asleep, getting bored, just sitting on there for that many hours. So I may have to move them out of there to a different environment, open up the blinds, open up the windows and stuff like that to get them going. For my youngest one, my first grader, he's a very bubbly. He's a lot like me. He's ready to rock and roll. I can put him in his room, close his door. His teacher is very upbeat, energetic. She's very engaging with them. I never have to go in there. It's like he's at school. Once I taught him the systems, how to log in, how to make sure he clicked on Google Meets, I have a calendar. It has a timer. So each time he's one of them supposed to go from one class to the next class, lunch, break, all of that. I set the timers in there and I label them. And so the timer goes off. When it's time to go to lunch, they got their timer on there. They know, okay, log out for lunch. Then when their lunchtime is up and their specials and all that is up, there's another alarm on there for them to clock in. I normally I'll set it for maybe like 2 minutes, 3 minutes early, just to make sure they wake the computer up, sign back in, all that good stuff. And they know they're supposed to be on there. If the teacher's not on there, give it a minute or two, refresh it, and try to join. So I've given them alarms, and they're all scheduled and labeled for each one of them to know when they're supposed to be on there, which class to go to, so they don't have to sit and wait or come and get me or, have a reason for when they wasn't on there. I even taught them the Wi-Fi password. If it cuts out, here's the password. I wrote all their stuff down, so it's catered to each one of them. The internet issues, we haven't really had that much of that anymore, except for my daughter. Her room is the furthest away from the modem, so she has the worst signal. So I've had to move her out of her room to another location where she can still not have that hindrance of keep having to log back in, because the teachers are still going. And by the time she gets on, she's lost. They're doing something, she doesn't know what's going on. So I just moved her from that location to a location that works best. But giving them schedules and setting alarms for them so they'll know which class to go to, that has been working perfectly. Also, they have that long break. since they're not in school and they can't go to recess and all this other stuff, what I do to give them a break once it's time to log off for lunch, and they're supposed to do specials and all that, I use that time to get some classwork done, get some homework done, so they won't have so much to do later on. And then I'll give them a break. I'll say, let's go ride the bike, around for about 15, 20 minutes. That way they can still get out and kind of have a break. Even though they're not in the school building, they don't want home to feel like, oh, it's just work and school. So I like to take them outside, let them run around, ride the bikes.
Yeah.
That has been helping them to get all that energy out. So when they return, they won't feel like they've been there for 8 hours on the computer. So that has worked tremendously.
So I heard a couple of things. I just wanted to reiterate: teaching your children responsibility, using timers, making sure passwords and login information is written down from them. And I saw a couple of parents say also patience from teachers, making sure we understand that you have internet issues going on at your households as well. So you all have hit on some good points. I would say if you could give like one last message to our parents who are logged in, what advice would you give them?
I would say be patient, try to be understanding of the child's learning environment, but also be very communicative with the teachers, whether that be, because I'm going to make sure you get my message. I'm going to dojo you, I'm going to email you, I'll call up to the school and talk to Mr. A, but you just want to cover your child's basis, because it's for the third grade, they have all of them in one big group Zoom, and it's only 3 teachers. So that can be hard for them to keep or hear all 60-some kids that may be on there at one time. So some will feel left out or get unnoticed or things like that. But you just have to make sure you reach out, and if the teacher's not responding, contact somebody else at the school, because they're going to make sure that the teacher gets the message. So don't just rely on, sitting in the dojo, because they're probably have a lot of dojos that they're trying to respond to. So just try to be patient, take a deep breath, set the kids some schedules, some timers, some alarms, and pray. That's what pray.
Okay. I heard be patient, pray. Any other final words for our parents?
I piggyback on Miss Wright. You're right. I mean, praying, definitely. Patience, it's on both ends. I would say just with the teachers, and then also the teachers with the students. Because like Miss Wright said, all students don't learn the same. So one student might get it, or half of the class might get it, but the other half might not. So it's just like patience on both ends, definitely.
Okay. Ms. Dedman, you have something?
Yes, I would also just like to say, just everybody just give themselves a break, because we all need it. Because I know I work from home, and then even though my kids are back in school, when they come home from school, they need a break too. So when my son gets home from school, I give him a chance to play on his game or watch a cartoon or something for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, just to give himself time to wind down. Because like you said, these kids have been on in school all day. They not going to special.
Well, specials are coming to
a chance to kind of regroup and unwind and get back to the task at hand.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught that. Specials are going to them. The teachers rotate to them.
No, I was saying they're not going. They're not actually going out of the class to specials like they previously were. So just being in the class all day, sitting in front of their Chromebooks. So it just gives them a chance to unwind and regroup before they have to go to homework for the night.
Right. So I want to thank our RHE parents who, come on, Mr. Jones.
So mine is real simple. I would just say, as parents, let's do a better job at familiarizing ourselves with the technology, because there is a lot of opportunities and things that the kids can take advantage of. But some of the stuff we just don't play with and we don't know about it. So let's make sure that we familiarize ourselves with that, so we can take advantage of all the opportunities out here that they're providing for our kids.
I like that. I would say us as adults, I think we have had the greatest learning curve. And I'm the principal. I work here. I know what the teachers are using, but I'm still having to go to YouTube, watch videos so that I can stay abreast as well. I absolutely agree with that, Mr. Jones. Okay, so I want to thank you all for joining us for our parent panel. Ms. Leverett, Ms. Debbie, Mr. Jones, Ms. Wright, we appreciate you and your time. What we're going to do now, RHE, is transition from our parent panel, and now I'm going to bring up some parent educators. So these are Rolling Hills staff members who are also parents, and we're going to give you some tips for success. So thank you to my parent panel. I appreciate each of you. All right, so now I'm going to bring up some of our RHE staff members, and I call them parent educators because we have students at Rolling Hills and we work here at Rolling Hills. So I am going to allow them to introduce themselves so you know who you are hearing from this evening. And we'll start with you, Mrs. Smith.
Good evening, parents. I'm Ms. Smith. I am the attendance clerk and enrollment clerk here at Rolling Hills. I'm also a proud parent of a fifth grader here.
Ms. Vickers?
Good evening. I am Ms. Vickers, fourth grade math teacher, and I also am a proud parent of a fourth grader here at Rolling Hills.
Mrs. Medford?
I am Mrs. Medford. I am the fifth grade science teacher, and I am the proud parent of two Lancaster ISD students, one fifth grader, one first grader, but I am the proud parent of three students. I do have a freshman that attends a different school.
Same here. You all know me. I am Principal Pipkins. I have two students in Lancaster ISD. I have a middle school student, and I also have a student here at Rolling Hills Elementary. Parents, I think that's important because I want you to know what we're doing for your children, we're doing for our own. And I think that really does speak to the work that's going on here. If we want our own children a part of Rolling Hills, and we have lots of staff members who are children here, if we want our children here, you know that we're going to take care of yours. So the first piece of information we want to share with you is all about attendance. So we're going to let Mrs. Smith talk to you about what attendance looks like during this virtual learning.
Okay, so right now, there's a couple of things with attendance. Let me get my screen up too, so you all can see.
Okay, there it is, okay.
And let me move over one. Okay. Okay, so first thing we wanted to mention, of course, is attendance matters. One of the things to highlight is our what is the same, our how has changed. In regard to our what being the same with our attendance, attendance is still the same as far as if your child misses a day, when they return to school, they are to return with a note either from a parent or from a doctor or dentist office. So those things are still the same. A couple of things that I wanted to highlight, I have kind of three little points. The first one is, why is attendance important? And the main thing is, it's a state law requirement. If your child is between the ages of 6 years old to 19 years old, there's a state law requirement for them to be in school. So if for any reason you want them to come before that, such as pre-K or kindergarten, then once that student enrolls, then they're obligated to also follow the same guidelines in regard to attendance. So once they enroll, whether they're 6 up to 19, they have to follow the state law guidelines. And then if you choose to have them enroll at 3 or 4 years old, then they have to follow it as well. There are some exceptions. Some exceptions could be maybe you enroll your child in a private school and they have different requirements, or either a home school and there's different requirements. So as far as why it's important, we want to make sure that we are following the state guidelines in regard to attendance. The next one would be why it counts. Why does attendance count? First of all, with me also being a parent, our number one goal is to make sure that our children are successful. And part of that success is making sure that they're at school every day. We do understand that sometimes things come up, things happen that are beyond our control. But the main thing is we want to make sure that they are in school at least 90% of the time. 90% of the time is what we look at as far, again, as the state law, a requirement for them to be at school those days. If for some reason they're not, then you run the risk of either truancy or possible grade retention. And so then we'll start having those conversations if your student is not attending school at least 90% of the time. And then the last one to talk about is how is it taken? How is it taken this year has been the biggest change. So when we talk about our what being the same, our how has changed. For elementary school students, we are used to taking attendance by 10 a.m. one time a day in the homeroom class, and then we're done. Well, this year, because of the pandemic, we are taking attendance 6 times. If your child is in 1st to 5th grade, we take attendance for every single core class that they go to. The reason we do it that way is because we want to make sure that the students are engaging in every single core class throughout the day. And it gets interesting because some of our kids are at home learning. And a lot of times I know one of the things that our parents talked about at the parent panel was having our kids become independent. And we know our children, a lot of them will go in there and do what they're supposed to do. And then you have some that may go in there and decide, you know what, today I really don't feel like doing math, so I'm not going to go to math. Well, when attendance is taken for that math class, if they're not in there, then they will receive an absence for that class. So then what happens is when you go into the parent portal to look at their attendance, you'll notice, how did my child have 6 absences today? Or, you know, how did my child have 25 absences over the course of the last few days? It's because one particular day, because we do take it 6 times, one for each core class, that's 6 absences for that day. Now, we don't report that many to the state. It's still that standard one day. We report it according to the actual date rather than the course. So when we look at it on our end, we want to know, what is it that this child is missing? If they're not attending every day, is there a trend where they're logging out every day for science? Is there a trend where they're not logging in for homeroom to get the morning announcements? What is the reason? Why are they missing? And what is the reason for that? So those are a couple of things, the why is it important, why it counts, and how it's taken. Another thing that you'll notice is if you have students that are logging on for virtual learning, when you go to parent portal, you'll see a code that says RA. And that's how the state is able to determine that your child is enrolled in school, but they're not face-to-face. They're not actually in the building. They're on virtual, on the virtual platform. So that's how we're able to determine which students are face-to-face and which ones you'll see the RA code. So if you go on, don't be alarmed, but if you see RA, that means that they're present, but they're present online. And let's see, and then we have, I just kind of listed a couple of good habits for attendance. Of course, the first thing, we want them to have perfect attendance. We want them to be at school every single day. The other thing is, if they're not there, you want to email, call, send a teacher a class dojo. If you can do it before 10 a.m., that would be great. That way we can avoid that call coming out to you if I can go in and code it before that call go out. If not, that's fine, but we want to make sure that we're getting some type of information from the parent. Honestly, because we are elementary school parents, our kids can't drive to school. They have no control over it if they have to come to the building. If they're doing virtual learning, a lot of times they need that extra push, that extra nudge from the parent. You know, come on, let's get up, let's start our day. I heard parents talking about alarms and setting schedules and things like that. So we want to make sure that we're doing those things because some of them are not that self-sufficient yet. Some of them are and some of them not. So we just want to make sure that we're getting them ready. And then if they're not here or if they can't log on for any reason, I just can't express how important it is for the parent to communicate. Just like on our jobs, if there's for some reason I can't be here, I have to send a message or call to let the principal know, hey, I'm not going to be there today, or I had an emergency or something came up, or I have a doctor's appointment. I can't just not show up to work for 2 or 3 days. And then that 4th or 5th day show up and say, hello, everyone, I'm back. Because they want to know, where were you? Are you coming back? What's going on? Can we help you with anything? That's how we are with our students. So as parents, I just ask that we make sure that we're communicating in that area. And if for some reason your student can't be at school, reach out to, you can either email me, you can call me directly, and just let me know my child will not be at school today. Or I do have parents that say, you know, they have an appointment scheduled for Friday, and just letting you know now. And then once they attend that appointment, then the parent will email me that doctor's note. So those are the things as far as getting in contact with me or either the teacher in regard to attendance. The third one is if a student have a dental appointment, maybe for just a dental cleaning or a checkup, we ask, even if it's virtual, face-to-face, if the child can come to school a partial day, that does not impact their attendance at all. So we want them to come. We know that there are things that they may have to take care of, but if they can log in, if they're virtual for half a day, or if they can come to school face-to-face for half a day, we would love for them to be here. And then send that note with them if they're face-to-face, or email that note if they're virtual. That way, that does not impact their attendance. So when we start doing different things for attendance, they'll be able to participate in those things. But if they have a dental cleaning at 9 a.m. and they're out the whole day, with the doctor's note, we'll excuse that absence, but it's still an absence excused. So it'll still count as an absence, but it'll be an excused absence. But if they come for part of the day, that will not count as an absence at all. So we want them to be here as much as possible to meet that 90% goal. And then the biggest thing I would say, like I said before, is communicate. It doesn't mean you have to, tell all of your business, everything that's going on. Even we understand emergencies come up. We understand things happen beyond our control, but I ask that everyone just communicate, whether it be phone call, whether it be email, whether it be class dojo, communicate, let us know, because we've actually come across situations where we may need to help someone with something. Someone may have made a decision about something, not knowing that the school have tools and resources that can assist you with those things. So if we don't know, we can't help. The same thing that, I would say I have 2 college students. If we don't know, we can't help. So we have to make sure that we're communicating back and forth. And it goes both ways, from us, the staff and the teachers, to the parents, and then from the parents to the school. So we want to make sure that we're communicating with one another. And then the last thing was just to make sure that if you go to the website, you can actually check their attendance on the parent portal. If you go on the parent portal and you see something with attendance that you're not sure about, or that you don't agree with, or you don't remember a day, reach out to me. We can talk about it. Right now, we're all learning something new every single day. We come across situations that I have to say, you know what, let me find out and get back with you. But we appreciate those questions, because that helps us to move on to the next, if it happens again. But again, thank you guys for all being on here. We appreciate your time, and communicate with us.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. We appreciate those tips. And I hear a term that keeps coming up, parent portal. It was mentioned on our panel of parents, and you stated it, Mrs. Smith. So what we have next, Miss Vickers, our 4th grade math teacher and a parent of a student here at Rolling Hills, she's going to walk us through the parent portal, what that is, why it's important, and why this should be on your radar, parent, so that you can get those notifications. There was a parent who mentioned, I need to know if my child is missing something. I need to know if those grades are low. So Ms. Vickers is going to share with you how you can get that information at your fingertips, and you don't even have to wait for the teacher. You can get it for yourself.
All right. I think it's right. All right. Good evening again. Good evening. So as Mrs. Pipkin stated, I will be presenting to you the parent portal and how to navigate it so that you can stay in the know. This is new for me, so please bear with me. All right. So some of you may be asking, what is Parent Portal? Parent Portal is a district design resource that will provide parents with real-time information to access students' schedules, attendance, grades, and etc. And you will see what that etc. is, because it literally gives you an oversight over pretty much everything that deals with your student. How do you access Parent Portal? If you will access Parent Portal through the LISD website. At the top left-hand corner, you will see a Parent Portal tab where you can click and scroll down, and then you will click on the Parent Self-Serve icon, and this will take you directly to the Parent Self-Serve Parent Portal. I'm sorry. Okay. Once you have reach the Parent Portal, you will be then directed to the sign in page. Now you will sign in using your username and your password that you use to register your student. So I believe that this year we went entirely online. So whatever that was whatever your username and password was that you used to sign up your students for this year of learning, then that is what you will use. But if for some reason, after you have went through all the steps and you have clicked forgot password, if you do not remember your password and try to get into it that way, if it does not work, you can always contact enrollment at lancasterisd.org, and they will definitely get you signed in. Okay. Once you are in, this is where the fun starts. So you will see your students' names and IDs listed here. So if you have multiple students, they will all be listed under your My Students tab, where you can then navigate and click on each individual student. So if I was to go and click on my student's name here, then it will then direct me to all of these tabs. And this is when I mentioned when I say they literally like break down everything for you. But we're just going to look at a few of these tabs. Okay. So to start off with, just to show you all, because I did hear Mrs. Smith mention the attendance tab. So this is the tab that she mentioned here, where you will click on it and it will give you a detailed attendance report. But today we're focusing on the report cards tab and the progress report tab. And these will give you a live view of your students' grades, missing assignments, or incomplete grades, okay? We also have the email teacher tab. This one is going to be a lifesaver because once you click on that, you email your teacher, it literally goes directly to their email. And then I heard earlier when we had the parent discussion, they were talking about the different ways of contacting the teachers. And we all know that email is our best friends as teachers. And so you will not miss us if you email us. So you will use that tab to email the teacher. The notifications tab. This one right here is probably my favorite as a parent. It keeps me like up to date. I don't have to think twice about it, and we're going to definitely dig into that. But as you can see, you can look into their discipline report, health log, immunizations, medical history. The list goes on and on. Okay, so this is where we get into the grades. So once you click on their report card tab or their progress report tab, you will then be taken to their report card or progress report. If the grades are in red, that means they have not been finalized and they're still in the progress report stage. These are, of course, more negotiable than the ones that are in the black. These right here, if I saw a discrepancy between my student's grade and what I think that they deserved, or what I know I've help them with, then I can, of course, contact the teacher, because we know that teachers make mistakes too. And so we want to make sure that if you see a problem or you're not satisfied with the grades, then then you are communicating that with your teachers. Now, I want to just stop just 1 second, because I see a comment that says the loading of the grades, and so that was also on my to-do list. I mean, my talking point. So mostly the grades are not going to be uploaded as soon as they are due. So what that means is, if I am a teacher and I say my group grades are due on Tuesday, or the homework is due on Tuesday, I might not get to putting the grade in on Tuesday. Now, as teachers, we do try to make sure that at least once a week we are uploading those grades. That's best practice. But as we know, things do happen. So we just ask for a little grace. But of course, if you are not seeing your grades in a timely manner, please reach out to your teachers. Okay, so just to go a little further into the grading. So say, for instance, I wanted to see what this 88 was about. Like, I know this is music. She should not be getting an 88 in music. So let me figure out what is going on. So I can click on that 88, and it will then give me a detailed report on where her grades are. So normally they are broken down by sections: classwork, homework, tests. And then I can see, oh wait, they made a 70 on assignment. So that could definitely have impacted the grade. Or if I see that there was a 50 or a 0 there because they didn't turn it in, and I know for a fact I, as a parent, helped my child with that homework, I can then look over here in the notes section, and there should be a note that says why that grade was a 50 or why that grade was a 0. So if it was a missing assignment, if it was an incomplete assignment, that should be noted there. Of course, if it's not, then again, please reach out to your child's teacher. Okay, so the fun part, the notifications tab. So this is my favorite, like I stated before. Once I click on this notifications tab, I can then turn on notifications to receive live notifications on my students' academic progress. So as you stated, so as you can see, so they have an attendance tab, which I thought was very interesting. I didn't know this was there until I actually went in to turn on my notifications. But if they have unexcused absences, tardies, daily attendance summary, that you can turn those on. I think this would be good for high school students. Maybe trying to ditch class or something. Okay, so but for elementary students, we have daily assignment grades. We have missing assignments. So if I have my student missing assignment, I can turn that on, incomplete. And this is my favorite, the grade value. So if I want to receive a notification below a 70, I turn it on. If your expectation in your home is that your student is a straight A student, then you would turn it on to anything below a 90 or anything below a 80. So you have your preference here. And again, your grade, you can turn on when your when the progress report or the report cards are posted below a certain GPA. Not GPA, a grade point. So but for sure, I encourage you all to go in and change your grade value and turn that notification on, because it definitely will help you and keep you in the know.
I use that.
Yes, it's like a lifesaver, because I get that ding and I'm like, I'm at the dinner table and I'm like, so what is this 50 about? Right on the spot. Okay, so before I close, I want to just give y'all a little parent homework. So I want to challenge you all to attempt to sign into Parent Portal. And if you cannot sign into Parent Portal, please, troubleshoot it and email enrollment@lancasterisd.org. Go ahead and try to view your students' progress under the report card tab. Again, the report card tab will be the finalized if it's black, and if it's red, it will be the progress report status. And to sign up to receive notifications. If you see any discrepancies, if there's something that you have any questions or concerns about, please communicate with your students' teachers. And again, remember that grades, as teachers, our workloads are heavy, but there's no excuse to not have grades in a timely manner. So please give us grace and also hold us accountable. I will say that you can hold us accountable if you're not seeing those grades in. Challenge or talk to your teacher, your student's teacher, and ask why those grades in, because this is a tool and a resource so that you can feel empowered and so that you can feel in the know about your students' progress. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Vickers. That is a powerful tool. I am seeing comments, people saying, I use this, I check this. I mean, I'm thinking about, like, if I know I'm going to a restaurant or new restaurant, or I'm trying a new place, I like to go and check the menu before I get there, just so that I have some background knowledge. It's the same, before I contact my daughter's teachers, I want to look for myself to see what's going on. So that notification tab, that's powerful. I would encourage every parent to use that. So I did hear some parents and I saw comments talking about assignments and turning stuff in, and I don't know what's going on. So we have Mrs. Medford. We call her our digital diva because she knows everything related to technology and Google Classroom. So she is going to walk us through all you need to know. When we practiced this a couple of days ago, I learned something new. And again, I'm the principal. I work with all these people, but I'm still learning new tools. So we're going to turn it over to Miss Medford, and she's going to teach us all about Google Classroom and what we need to do to be empowered as parents.
All right, so let me set up my screen real quick. All right, good evening, parents. I am Mrs. Medford. I am a 5th grade science teacher, but I'm also a parent of 3. I have a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So I understand some of the frustrations, but I do understand I can relate to some of the parents when they say you just have to put certain things in place. So one of those things we have to make sure, parents, is that we understand Google Classroom. Google Classroom is the platform the district is using for all assignments. Every single assignment that your student is assigned is more likely coming through Google Classroom. Google Classroom. So I'm here to help give you a little piece about Google Classroom, and hopefully this helps you out. So let's go ahead and get started. So navigating Google Classroom through Clever. When students log into their Chromebook, if they have a district issue Chromebook, when they log into their Chromebook, it automatically defaults them to Clever. All right, when it defaults them to Clever, there is an icon on their dashboard for Google Classroom. All they have to do is go straight to that icon, press that Google Classroom icon, and they are automatically in Google Classroom. Now, do understand that this is only one way students can log into Google Classroom. Students also have many other ways where they can log into Google Classroom. But anywhere where you see this icon, they have access to Google Classroom. So whether they're coming through Clever, whether they're logging into Google Chrome, or just logging into Google, as long as they're signed into their district account, they have access to their Google Classroom. All right, now navigating that dashboard. So once they have now logged into their Google Classroom, the first thing that they will see is their classroom, what we call their classroom dashboard. This dashboard is going to give them every single class that they're enrolled in. So if you are like me and you have a 5th grader, that 5th grader is going to be logged into the reading teacher's class, math teacher, science teacher, music, PE, technology, and then writing and probably social studies. So your student could have they could have at least, and this is just me ballpark figure, at least 6 classes, if not more, showing up on their dashboard. So at the time where our remote learners are logging in, and even our face-to-face learners, all they have to do to get access to that class is to click into that teacher's classroom. So all they have to do is click the class, whatever class they wish to view, not only to get the link for the actual Google Class meets, but also get access to their assignments and anything that they need to do for that day. All student classes will appear on the dashboard as long as they are enrolled in that class. All right, so now we get to the main page. So once they have clicked on that class, we are at the main page. So I'm gonna navigate you through the main page. You have 3 main parts, or more than 3, but I'm gonna hit on 3 main parts of this main page. You have your stream page, which is pretty much just a summary of every assignment or any announcements that the teacher has put into that stream. Off to the left, where it says upcoming is where assignments are due. Any assignments that are due, whether it's due that particular day or maybe due the next day, or is going to show up under where it says upcoming, because those are the upcoming assignments or projects that are due. Then you have your tabs at the top. There's 3 tabs that students see at the top, which is stream, classwork, and people. The main tab that they are going to use most of the time is going to be that classwork tab. That classwork tab is what is going to give them access to every single assignment, material, or anything that teacher uploads into that Google Classroom. So right now, what I'm going to do is walk you through what that looks like when they click that classwork tab. So the first thing that you're going to see is what we call an assignment summary. There are 6 main parts to this assignment summary. At the top, you're going to see an icon that looks like a clipboard. That's how you know that that particular assignment or that particular topic in their Google Classroom is an assignment. So if you see an icon that looks like a clipboard, that means that is an assignment. Right across from that assignment is going to be your due date and their time. Each teacher is going to put a particular day and a time that assignment is due. Right under that due date and that time is where we find our assignment status. So I recall a parent asking, how do I know if my child is missing an assignment? This is how you know if your child, this is one way, let me back up. This is one way you know how a child is missing an assignment, because it's going to say that it's missing. Okay, if the assignment was turned in, then it's going to say turn in. If the assignment was graded, it's going to actually have a grade or say graded in that spot. So right under the due date and time is where you are going to find the status of that assignment. Then going back to the left-hand side is the directions. Teachers are right now, because we are virtual, we are being very detailed with the directions for those assignments. And so what you have to remind yourself and remind your students to do is make sure you are clearly reading those assignments, because teachers are being as detailed as possible when it comes to giving directions for assignments. And then you have your assignment links. Assignment links could be videos that the teacher has decided to upload. It could be a game that the teacher has decided to upload. It could be a link to another particular website they want the students to work on. It also could be attachments that they want the students to work on. I know in the lower grades, they might upload an attachment that can be printed. In the upper grades, we're trying to upgrade their technology skills. So we might upload something a little different, because we know what they are going to have to expect when they go to secondary. So we might do it a little different. And then the last tab I want you to look at is what is called assignment details, where it says view assignment. When you click on view assignment, it is going to take you into a more detailed version of what that assignment is. So we are going to go ahead and look at what that looks like. So navigating the assignment details, this is the meat. This is the meat of Google Classroom right here in this assignment details. So again, at the top, you have your icon with your assignment date and your title. It also, again, you have your due date, you have your directions, you have your links. So in this detail section, you have some of the similar things that you had in the summary. You also have the assignment status. Now, in the details, it gives you something a little different. It gives you something a little different. So if you want to follow me to the right-hand side, the right-hand side is what is different in the details than the summary. The right-hand side is actually going to show, one, your student's work. It's going to show if your student has to upload any work, whether they're creating it through Google or whether you're taking a picture of it and uploading it, it's going to show. If your student doesn't have any attachments in that section, more than likely they did not complete the assignment. And that's why it's very important to pay attention to the directions, because the teachers are going to tell them if they need to upload a picture. If there's no picture uploaded under where it says your work, then that assignment was not completed or was not completed. Now we get to the turn in button. I've had a lot of questions during this virtual learning about how do we turn in assignments. Well, this button right here, it says turn in. You are going to click that button. But here's my disclaimer, parents. Our students have gotten real clever. They have gotten real clever with this turn in button. So what happens is we have some students who are clicking turn in, but they're not completing any assignments. And so parents, the section right under the turn in button is where you have to pay attention, which it says private comments. If your student did not turn in the assignment, your teacher is more than likely going to put incomplete assignment or assignment missing in this comment section. Again, our students' technology skills are better than what we probably anticipated. And so they've gotten real clever about this turn in button. So we've been experienced a lot of students clicking turn in, but again, no assignment is done, no assignment is completed. But see, on your end as the parent, as you're going to see on the next slide, it's going to look like the assignment is turned in. And so that's probably where you're making the phone call to the teacher. No, it says they turned in the assignment, but they did turn it in, but it wasn't done. So parents, we're asking you to really pay attention to that comment section, because if your student did not complete the comment, the assignment, the teacher is going to make a comment. So, but you have to go into the assignment. So you have to go into the details page to see that comment. You're not going to see that comment from the summary page. So again, right here, parents, turn in and comment. The beautiful thing about this comment section is another way for you to communicate with the teacher. Not only as the teacher, not only can the teacher send you a private message, but you can also send the teacher a private message. And if you send the teacher a private message, it will send an email notification to that teacher that a particular student sent us a message. So this is another way that you can communicate with the teacher about a particular assignment, is leaving a private message. So that is another way to communicate with your teacher, because I know we've been talking about communication all evening. And then we're going to go into your view work. So parents, if you didn't know, at the top of your student page where it says assignments, there's a little icon that says view your work. This is what some parents may not know. So I want to make sure you know it as RHE parents. View your work. When you click on view your work, it gives you these assignment statuses. It's either going to be all, assigned, returned, or missing. If that assignment, if it's an assignment that is assigned, it's going to look like this. It's going to give you, again, the date and title of that assignment. It's going to give you the date, the due date. And then right over here, it's going to tell you if that assignment is missing or is it just assigned. If it says assigned, that means that it hasn't come up on the due date yet. So if you see this assigned over in the status, that means that we have not approached the due date. However, if you see the missing, that means it is now past due. So again, the missing means that the assignment is past due. Assign means that we have not approached the due date just yet. Then in the middle, you have your return and graded. Parents, what you have to understand, and as Ms. Vickers was talking about the parent portal, the grade book that teachers have in Google Classroom does not import to parent portal, which means that just because that grade is in your Google Classroom doesn't mean that it's going to be in the actual grade book. You have to understand, parents, is that Google Classroom is our main platform. So we are assigning and uploading almost everything that we're doing through Google Classroom. So everything in Google Classroom may not necessarily be in the grade book. That's why it's important to make sure you have parent portal, because that's the actual grade book, what we took a grade on. In Google Classroom, it could be that we actually took a grade on it, or as you can see, it may be just a participation grade and it just gets a check mark because that student participated in that particular activity or that assignment for that day. But if you click return, you'll be able to see what work was returned to the student with a grade. And then the last one, which is missing. Again, right here, if you are interested in just seeing what your child is missing, then just click missing. It'll tell you every single assignment that that student has not turned in. So again, parents, I can't emphasize enough. Please make sure you are going into the assignment and checking their work, because students are becoming very clever about the turn in. And what'll happen is, instead of seeing missing, you'll see turn in on your end, but again, they have not completed the assignment. So it's very important to monitor their assignments for completion. And then the last point, you can access Google Classroom from anywhere. You can upload it to your phone. You can upload it to a tablet, desktop, laptop. This is a free download to any mobile device. I even have it for myself, and I have all my students' login attached to it. So you can have Google Classroom at your fingertips, because sometimes we're not always sitting in front of a laptop or a desktop. We might just have our phone or our tablet. All you have to do is go to your app store, find this, type in Google Classroom and see this icon, and you can download it for free. And you can have it right there at your fingertips. So this ends my presentation on Google Classroom. If you have any questions, even after tonight, please contact your student's teacher and they will walk you through or assist you with Google Classroom.
Thank you, Mrs. Medford. Parents, we hope that that was helpful for you. I know that I got some tips. I have been able to help my daughter upload assignments, even on my phone, because a lot of times the teacher is asking for a picture of an assignment, and it looks better from my phone than it does on the Chromebook sometimes. So yes, that access is really powerful. And then finally, parents, I just want to share with you ways that we can communicate with you and that you can communicate with us. That's one term that we keep hearing tonight, is just about staying in communication with each other. So here are just some tips and some information I want to make sure that our entire family of Team Excellence is aware of. So if you are getting a call from Rolling Hills Elementary on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m., that is our campus call out. It comes every Sunday at 6. It comes in the format of a phone call, an email message, as well as like a short text message. I do this, parents, so that you know exactly what's happening on the campus level every week. That helps you frame the week. Now, you won't get a call from me this Sunday because we will be beginning our Thanksgiving break. But typically, Sunday night at 6, it's Mrs. Pipkins that's calling you, so you know what's going on. Please don't drop the call, block the call. Please accept the call. We also do a campus newsletter that comes out the beginning of every month. So you can expect to get the December newsletter by December 1st so that you know everything that will happen for the month of December. And then you can find us on social media. If you just want to see what we're doing throughout the day, highlights, events, some of the amazing things that our teachers and students are doing, you can find us here on Facebook Facebook, Rolling Hills Engineering Academy. We are on Twitter at RHE Lancaster, and we're also on Instagram at RHE Lancaster. So those are the ways that you can find out what's going on with the campus. Now, classroom communication, parents, I am seeing your comments in the comment section tonight. One thing that every classroom teacher at Rolling Hills Elementary has is a class dojo. If you are not connected to that, I encourage you to reach out to your teacher. Class dojo is essentially like text messages. And so our teachers use those for quick reminders, to drop flyers, to give you information. And we know for you, a lot of us as parents, we use our phones a lot. So that's one way for us to get quick information to you. Email is not forgotten. You use your teacher's first name, last name at lancasterisd.org. The same for me. So you can continue to email your teacher, call us here at the school, and set up those parent-teacher conferences. If you are still having concerns, if you just want to have a detailed conversation, we're virtual, but just like we're doing here, your teacher can send you a link and you all can meet virtually to talk about any concerns that you are having about your child. And then I want to talk to you about planning time. Every Rolling Hills teacher has an established time for them to grade papers, to have meetings, to have conferences. And so if you're not sure, please reach out to your teacher to find out their planning time so that you can have those conferences, you can have those detailed conversations. We want to make sure that happens. If you are not able to get in touch with your teacher at any moment, like during the school day, y'all, not 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night or on the weekend, but during business hours, office hours, if you are not able to get a response from your teacher, let me know so that we can make sure you're able to communicate with your teacher. And I do want to talk about some online etiquette for those of you who are working from home. You know, it's different from being in your cubicle or in the office. And so what we're trying to train our students to do is to use the mute button. With some of our students who are virtually learning, you know, there is the noise of the house. Think about all the sounds of your household. We want to make sure that that's not a distraction for your child, and especially for the other students and the teacher. So we want to make sure that our students can utilize that mute button to get all of that background noise down. We need our students to keep their cameras on. Think about if you logged in tonight and you could only hear us, you could not see us or our visuals. It's the same way with our students. We do want to make sure that they're being successful. We do want to see what they're working on, and we have some software that allows us to do that. I saw a couple of parents commenting Class Kick. We can actually see if your child is solving that math problem, if they're using their strategies. We need their cameras to be on so that we can continue to guide them, making sure that they're engaged with us, making sure that they're learning and not watching YouTube, TV, and all of those kinds of things. And if you are tuned into our morning announcements, you hear me talk about a learning posture. Parents, our kids struggle if they are in the bed wrapped in covers. They're really not learning. They're snoozing, they're sleeping. So I really need for you to work with us with getting them up and dressed. Even if they're staying at home, they still need to get out of the bed, get dressed, brush their teeth, wash their face, get breakfast so that they can log in and be ready for the day. And then we just want to limit distractions as much as possible in the background. You heard Mr. Jones talk about his daughter being in a separate room just so that she's not hearing the TV or, you know, listening to dad's conference call. We just want to make sure that we set our students up for success. And then another thing that our parents mentioned in the parent panel is these are your babies, but for us, they are students with great potential. So I want all of us to think about what can we do for our students right now to set them up for success. So right now, all of us, whether your child is a pre-K student or a fifth grader, we can teach them responsibility. Responsibility can be chores that they are expected to do at a certain time, a certain day. Responsibility is your job. What has your teacher assigned? Do you know what your assignments are? Teaching them responsibility. Let's open up your book tonight and let's read together. We have to teach our students these things. They have to know that it's important to us. If they are playing football, if they're on the drill team, cheering, singing, we make it our business to get them to that practice to make sure that they can perform. And I need us as a community to make it our business that our students are reading every night, that they are writing incomplete sentences, responding incomplete sentences. And what that means, parents, is that sometimes we're going to have to be inconvenienced. Me as a mother, I am extremely tired and fatigued when I get home. And so as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. I have to get off my own phone. I have to put up my own work laptop so that I can make sure that my daughters are successful, that I am having conversations with them. I'm asking them, I'm logging into their Google Classroom to make sure that their assignments are turned in. Yes, our teachers are paid to instruct, to grade, and those types of things, but we cannot do it by ourselves. It's going to take every parent, every teacher, every staff member to make sure that Rolling Hills continues to be a successful school. Yes, the pandemic is making it hard for all of us, and yet as a school, we still want to make sure that student achievement is our bottom line. So parents, I'm pressing you tonight to make sure that we are all being responsible when it comes to what our children are doing at home in the evening, the reading, the deadlines, holding them responsible, and parents holding ourselves responsible to make sure that we're doing what we can do right now so that in the future, our students are definitely successful. Safety in the pandemic, we've had a couple of questions to come up. We do screen every student, every staff member in the morning. If your child has any type of health concerns, you're going to hear from Nurse Sparrow. You won't hear from the teacher directly. You're going to hear from Nurse Sparrow so that we can make sure that everything that we're giving you is pertinent and appropriate. During this pandemic, parents, I need all of us to understand we may be inconvenienced. So your child may have to go to the doctor. They may have to be quarantined. They may have to be tested. And not only our students, we may have that same situation for staff. So I just want you all to be aware of that. Know that safety is the absolute top priority right now. We want to make sure everybody stays safe. Now, you see these amazing shirts that our staff members have on at Rolling Hills. We are always about spirit. This is our new spirit gear for 2020, 2021. Now, you can see the shirts here, the hoodies here. Our staff shirts say we teach, but our student shirts say we learn and strive and persevere and excel and matter. Rolling Hills Elementary. So those are all of the things that we want our students to embody and to internalize. So t-shirt is $8, parents. Hoodie is $14.95. Every order is placed online, but the merchandise will be brought here to campus and then we'll distribute it once it's in. So make sure that you purchase those. Teachers have shared that link so that you can order online. A couple of announcements. Progress reports will be emailed tomorrow. So hopefully after you look at that progress report, the tips that you got tonight will be helpful. We are about to have Thanksgiving break for the week of the 23rd. For my bilingual and ESL parents, there is a parent cafe that will be held. Teachers have already shared that flyer with you all. And then know that our newsletter is coming out December 1st. If you are a parent of a pre-K, kinder, first or second grade student, look for information about dollars for college. If you aren't familiar with that term, Lancaster ISD wants to put money in your account so that your child can have money when it's time to go to college. So you'll get additional information from us regarding that. And then you'll also receive a December holiday calendar. Now, we do have a virtual sign-in sheet. By being here tonight and getting all of this information, your child will get a homework pass. And if they're in person with us, they're going to have a free dress pass for November 30th. So we're going to put that link in our comment section. I'm going to get it for you right now. I'm putting it in the comments. So parents, I need you to use this form so that you can use our, you can get into our digital sign-in sheet. Let's see, putting it right here. And Ms. Medford, it's not set up where they have to have Lancaster ISD, correct? Okay, so if you all will go ahead and use that link to do your sign in, we need to know your child's name, their teacher, your name, and then any feedback that you have for us tonight so that we can make sure we are actually providing the information that you need. One more thing I do want to share as you sign that sign in sheet. Parents, if you want to reach out to particular staff members based on your need, I have emails here. There is my email address, our assistant principal, Ms. Spencer, our counselor, Nikki Armstead. You can see Mrs. Smith here. Anything about attendance, enrollment, Mrs. Smith can take care of you. We do have our intervention teacher who helps some of our lower grade students who need some extra work as it comes to reading. She's there. And then you heard from Mrs. Medford all about Google Classroom. Parent Portal was from Ms. Vickers. So if you need to email any of us, please do. And we will contact you to answer any questions that you have. And so what I'm going to do now is actually look in our comments to see if there are any additional questions, comments, or concerns we want to address for you before you go. But make sure you sign in, parents. Make sure you sign in. You are so welcome, Miss Baker. I'm glad that it was helpful. Thank you, Miss Huerta. We appreciate it. We just wanted to make sure that we provided some solutions because, like I said, we're parents too. We have been frustrated too, and we just want to make sure that we're able to help all of our parents during this time. You're welcome, Miss Holiday. We appreciate it. So you all can see some of those comments. Any other questions or comments or anything we need to be aware of before you all leave? Thank you. We want to rock. Anything else? Make sure you use the sign-in sheet. Sign in. Your students are going to be upset if their names are not on that list. And we miss Jace too, Miss Holiday. We do. Yes, Ms. Dedman, thank you so much for being a part of our panel. You all set the tone. We appreciate all of our RHE parents. You are so welcome, Ms. Manning. Any questions, any comments? One thing that I did note, parents, when I was looking at your comments, we do want to make sure that we are responding to you in a timely fashion. So as a staff, we'll make sure we take care of that. And then I saw your comment, Ms. Johnson, making sure that the due date on the assignment is actually what the due date is and it's matching up. So those are things that we'll take care of in-house. Yes, Ms. Huerta, for them to get the pass, you have to use the link I just sent. I'm going to put it out here again. So sign in on that form so we can give your students credit for you being here tonight. And my daughter has already talked about that free dress pass, so it's important. Anything else, parents? Questions, comments, feedback for us? I always address the staff as team excellence, and parents, you all are definitely a part of that team. And so this is how we grow. Based on our 2019 results, Rolling Hills is a B-rated campus. All last year, I talked to the staff about aiming for an A. So even in the pandemic, we want to make sure that we are utilizing best practices to equip our students the best we can so that they can be successful. And we know that there is a learning curve. Things are new and different. We're experiencing that too, but we just want to work together. We don't want to say, oh, we're in a pandemic and they don't have to learn. Yes, they do. They still have to learn and we're going to push them. Yay. Thank you, Mr. Williams. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The whole Williams family, we hear from you all the time. Thank you for the feedback. It really does help us. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. We are completely team RHE over here. Okay, so Miss Holiday, the classroom teacher will decide when they can use that homework pass, but we're gonna issue the homework pass, and the free dress pass will be November 30th. But your teachers will let you know, or they may say that the student can use it when they need to, want to. I'll leave that up to the teachers. Thank you so much, Miss Shaw. We appreciate it. Oh, we have another one. You all are super awesome. Oh, going back and forth, Miss Mitchell. I'm going to let Miss Smith reach out to you. If you can just let us know what's going on. Like she said, just communicate with us. Let us know what's going on. Okay. Miss, I think it's Renee. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Can you email one of us so that we know exactly what you need? I'm going to put that back up. Email one of us, whoever you feel like needs to assist you, and we will be able to reach out to you to help you with your needs. Miss Mitchell, you as well. If you'll reach out to Mrs. Smith, because it sounds kind of like an attendance question you have, please do. Okay, Miss Holiday, get back to work. We need you to keep your job. Thanks for logging in. Make sure you sign in. Thank you, Mrs. Long. We appreciate your support. We really do. Yay from Miss Pace. Thank you, thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments? Miss Holiday has hand claps for y'all. Hey, Mr. Pipkins is rocking with RHE. Now, speaking of family, y'all, my whole family, we ordered shirts and hoodies. So don't just get something for the kids. Get your boo and your big mama. Everybody needs a shirt and a hoodie. Let's make it a family thing. Get everybody Christmas gifts, RHE spirit gear. Everybody in an RHE shirt. Any other questions? Before you leave, please make sure that you signed in so that your child gets those passes. They want them. They want them. Okay, we're going to hang like another 5 minutes and then we're going to end it. So if you have any questions, comments, please share. Okay, Miss Werta, you can put both of their names in the same field. You can put both their names in. And if for some reason one of their names doesn't come up, we know your kids, so we'll make sure that they both get credit. But let me know if you're able to put both of their names in. You should be able to. But you can do it twice. You're able to submit more than once as well. I'm going to verify with Ms. Medford. That is right. No, just one time, one submission? Okay. Ms. Wertzel, let me know if you're not able to get both of your students' names on the sign-in sheet.
Yes, it's just one submission, but they yeah, because I had 2 students too. So it allows you to put more than one student in that field.
Okay. I see we still have some parents with us. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, so Ms. Huerta, when we look at the sign-in sheet, whichever student is not on there, we'll make sure they get the pass. I know you have 2. Let's see.
Miss Pipkins, can you drop the link one more time? Okay, there you go.
Miss Medford, will you take those names down for Miss Huerta? Just so we making sure we got them. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. We appreciate it. You are so welcome, Mrs. Huerta. We are here to serve. Anything else? RHE parents? Mrs. Long, the teachers are the ones who give the grades. So if you have a question about specials, if you can reach out directly to those teachers and they can respond. Miss Manning, no, you can just put your name. You can sign the sheet for Sade. We just want to make sure she gets credit that you were here tonight. So you don't have to use her login. You can just go ahead and fill it out. Thank you, Mrs. Martin. Okay, Miss Wright, I'm going to do it again. Let me know if you still don't see it. I just shared it again. Let me know if you don't get it. Yay, okay. Miss Wright has it. Okay. Anything else, parents? I see a few of you are still with us, so that's why I don't want to just end it. So make sure you do your sign in. Make sure you order your new Spirit shirt. T-shirt is $8. Hoodie is $14.95. They fit children, adults. Thank you, Miss Werta. You have a great evening as well. Team, they still hanging in here, so I don't want to leave and they still have a question, but I still see some people logged in. They may be doing the sign-in sheet. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more comments come in. Again, parents, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully we were able to answer some questions. We're okay. We're coming. All right. You all have a great evening, and we will see our students by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. If they are in the building, we'll see them walk in. If they are at home with you virtual, they will be out of the bed, out of their pajamas, out from the covers, and ready for learning. So thank you to all of Team Excellence. You all have a great night.